let's talk to Jude in Texas. Jude, please say it.
Hello.
Please say it. What are you calling it about?
What am I calling about?
Yeah.
About slavery, you said?
Perfect. What's your take?
Okay, well, I'm getting really tired of people confusing the two, especially Christians. There's a lot of Christians that don't defend what the truth is, maybe out of ignorance. And there's a lot of atheists that claim that God is both. I mean, he can't be both. He can't be the slave master and the redeemer at the same time. And
Agreed.
the entire Bible, right. And so when they read that God is condoning slavery, they're right to assume that it's incompatible, inconsistent, right?
Are you saying that God doesn't condone slavery?
He doesn't. Absolutely, he does not.
Okay.
And I could prove it. And
do it.
Please prove it once and for all.
Okay. So what scripture do you guys go to? I mean, Exodus 21:16 ought to be enough. It's not just mere kidnapping if you sell the person, right? I mean, what is human trafficking today?
Wait,
what? And sell them.
Can you repeat
say that again?
It's not kidnapping as long as you can sell them?
No, I said Exodus 21:16 ought to be enough to prove that the Bible does not condone slavery. Human trafficking today is slavery, of course, right? You steal a person and sell them, or you steal a person and hold on to them for some kind of use.
Okay.
So let me correct you. Let me correct you on this real quick, because I've researched this extensively. This is definitely not about foreign slaves. This is actually about your fellow Israelite. That's what this section's talking about. For anybody that doesn't know this by heart, it says anyone who kidnaps someone is to be put to death, whether the victim has been sold or still in the kidnapper's possession. This is strictly talking about a fellow Israelite and not foreign slaves, which God later, or not, maybe not later, but in another section, actually says that you may purchase slaves from the nations around you. So you can definitely purchase slaves.
Your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves.
There you go.
Right. Let me continue, because I know it's a very complex subject. But
no, it's not. I'm dropping the call. I'm sorry, dude. No. You're done. I'm not. This is not a fucking complex subject. It says it as clear as it says any fucking thing in the Bible. Clearer than it says most things. Clearer than it talks about an empty tomb. Clearer than it talks about justification through faith. It talks about you may buy your slaves from the nations around you. So shut up. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Well, I was just going to say, it's really not that complex of an issue, but one of the tactics of apologists is to make it into a complex issue. Like what this guy tried to do right here is take Exodus 21:16 and try to make it about slaves in general, whereas it's only talking about your fellow Israelite. You can't take them you can't kidnap them and take them as a slave and sell them and stuff like that. There's actually a very specific way that you can actually get your fellow Hebrew into slavery, and that would be that debt slavery. But generally, apologists try to deny chattel slavery. But the one verse that V read out is definitely an example of chattel slavery. And there are several other examples all throughout the Old Testament of God specifically commanding the Israelites to go into a village, destroy everybody in it, and only keep the virgin girls. And that was to force them into a type of sexual slavery. So, like I said, there's just several examples all across the Bible, but the main thing that apologists try to do is make it into a very complex issue when it's really not.
Exactly. Good call. That's true. If somebody is coming at you and saying, "Oh, well, actually, it's really complicated," it's usually the same people who think that it's super easy to be like if you're gonna take a verse that clear, that blatant, and make it into this complex, multi-layered, turn your ass around and eat your own tail kind of thing, then you have to do that for everything. But you're like, oh well, the empty tomb. Well, duh. That's all I have to say about that. It's so simple. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Also, I love it. Somebody in the live chat said, according to the Bible, V is safe because it said your male and female slaves you may buy from other things. So I'm like, I'm good. I like it.